Bueno, estamos aquí en el stand de Lucky the Games, que nos van a hacer la presentación. Nos muestra una partida al Flamecraft, pero lo que es la presentación de las reglas nos la va a hacer Carley Gnarley. Tiene canal, no sé si lo habéis visto, y sabéis que trabaja ahora para Lucky the Games. Entonces, como Community Manager, nos lo va a explicar ella, lo hemos pedido y lo vamos a grabar con el gran angular para tratar de cubrir, lo digo porque se veis un poco deformado, y la idea es con la cámara, sin moverla demasiado, poder capturar todo el tablero y todos los componentes del juego. Así que, si os parece, vamos allá.
So in Flamecraft, you all play as flamekeepers, which are essentially friends of dragons. And dragons are these delightful little artisans that will, basically, you will assist in going around to different shops to gather goods, and then you will actually cast enchantments to help them make them. Those are the two main actions of the game. Basically, at the end of the game, you are trying to have the highest reputation, you're trying to be the best flamekeeper, helping them craft a variety of different things along the way. On your turn, you will always take your little dragon Meeple, or Mini in this case with the Deluxe Edition, and you will deploy it to a shop. We have 6 to start, but more will pop up. And so you could pop over here to go to the Fragile Reptile. Then you will, if you go to a shop and someone else is already there, you have to be able to give them a resource in order to go there. If multiple people were there, you'd have to give them each something, whatever of your choice. If you cannot do that, such as the beginning of the game where you have no things, you may not go to that location, you have to choose another location to go to. The next thing you'll do is you'll either gather or enchant at that location. Those are the 2 primary actions. They're both kind of broken down into like sub-actions. When you gather, that is really your big collector of the things. And when you enchant, that is usually your big spender of the things, let's make something, and getting of your reputation points. If you play your cards well, though, with enchant, you can also usually fuel yourself for later rounds as well. So gathering. When you gather, you'll gather all resources available at a location. So here, there's you get 2 diamonds, because you get both the shop resource as well as the dragon resource. Later, other dragons will be able to join. So, for instance, this dragon can be played here, in which case I'd get all 3 of those resources.
Is there 3 resources? There's only 1 here?
Oh, 1 here for the shop, and 1 here for the dragon. So if this dragon ends up here, you'll notice there's only 3 dragon slots, but also enchantments later in the game can end up tucked, so you can end up getting more and more resources at a location over time.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons. Oh, we're gonna swap that. Sorry, yeah. I shed a lot. It's great. Great for content. You're welcome. You can quote me on that.
No problem.
Sheds a lot. And it just doesn't go away. The dragons like it. They use it as a resource. It's another one. This is the expansion we're trying. No. The next thing you can do is place a dragon. So that's how these dragons can show up. You'll have a hand of dragon cards. These are your artisan dragon cards. You also have fancy dragon cards, but these are special abilities you'll be able to use in the game. Or one of them, the daytime ones, I'm gonna find an example, has a little sun in the top corner. Those are ones you'll use during the game. When they're relevant, you'll use them and trigger them. And then there's the moon ones, where that will be used as endgame scoring points. They're all pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions about them, I'll let you know, or let me know rather. And then, after placing 1 dragon from your hand, actually, my apologies. When you place a dragon, it has to have a matching icon of one of the available slots. So this leaf dragon could go here or here, a diamond one could go there, but I wouldn't be able to play the bread dragon from my hand there. So let's say I had this one and I played it. The extra icon that you see is your award for putting something in that slot. So in this case, you get to draw an extra fancy dragon card, and in this case, you get a gold coin. These gold coins are considered wild resources, but they're also worth 1 point at the end of the game. So you can use them for just about anything, or you can save them as a little money hoarder and get a lot of money. The next thing you can do with the gather turn, and we're still in the gather turn, it's the 3rd phase, is you can activate one of the dragon abilities at the shop. These are the fire up abilities indicated by the little fire icon. There are a lot of dragons, but every type of dragon has a specific ability and they're all the same. So if you're looking here and you're like, I can read this one easy, but not this one, they're all plant dragons, so they'll all do the indicated action. Typically they will let you gather things, move other dragons about, The purple dragons are very strong because they let you swap with another dragon and trigger its ability, which is how dragons can end up in different kinds of spots across the board.
But when you swap the dragon, they don't need to match the symbol.
Nope.
Okay.
There's actually some fancy dragon like awards that actively want you to put things like together, which naturally would not be able to happen.
Okay.
Like, for instance, these little starter dragons have a trumpet, and one of them is just like move all the starter dragons to like non-starter dragon spots. The last thing you'll do on a gather turn is to use a shop ability, if any. These starter shops don't have any. Let me pull an example. But throughout the game, we'll acquire more shops, and they'll have abilities associated with them that you can fire in order at that time. These will always trigger at the end. You'll go through the order, and that can be important because you wouldn't want to collect resources after your dragon is played. You want to keep that consistent. So in this case, you can collect one good from each dragon in the park and fire, or fire all of one type. The park is that basically face up deck of dragons that you'll be able to draft from, or face down of the deck.
This one over here.
Yeah, so I was going to explain this later, but this shot means now. This is your park, this is the dragon deck. Some things will refer specifically from the park, but usually when you draw a card, you'll be able to either do the face up park or the dragon deck of your choice. Okay. So that is gathering. That is where you basically will acquire more and more stuff. You'll realize that it's a little bit of a positive engine because the more I play dragons and do all these things, I'm getting a lot of stuff, but I also usually make my location better for everyone in the process. The next thing you'll be able to do is cast enchantments. This is usually your big point earner in addition to fancy dragons. To do so, you'll choose an enchantment, that's what that little like sparkle symbol is, that matches an icon at the place that you're at, paying the rewards, or paying the resources and gaining the rewards shown. This is a fairly intuitive process in the sense that this icon must match this. We are not making a ring at a bakery in the same way that you would not make a smelting pot at a potion shop. So you have to be at the right location to craft the thing you want to do. In the shop deck, some locations are wild locations, so you could put different types of things there. However, whenever you craft it, you basically will pay or cast the enchantment. You'll pay all of these resources. In this case, you gain 6 reputation. This will get tucked, and now that resource will be added to the shop resource. But the coolest part about enchantments, in my opinion, is the second half of it. Because after you enchant, you can fire up every dragon at that location. So where you choose to enchant, especially as more shops pop up, can be really significant. Because if it's a full slot, you might be able to get and do a lot of things with different dragons while you're there. A couple of other things that are worth note, at the end of your turn, you'll basically refill this deck if necessary, refill the park as necessary, but you also must discard down to 7 of each type of resource, as well as 6 dragon cards in hand. And if a shop is ever full, that is when you'll draw another card to add to a new shop to the store, more places for dragons to go. However, you'll only reveal that at the end of the turn as well. That's the majority of the game. The game end will trigger when either this deck, the last card has been revealed or drawn, or the enchantment deck, the last card has been revealed or drawn. And that is really all you need to get started with Flamecraft.
Or when we gather or when we enchant, we do all of them. Or
you do all of them in order. Most of them are may. So for instance, most things you're going to want to do. Gain 3 different goods is never a bad thing. It'll never hurt you. However, some things like the plant dragon ability is gift a good to another player to gain 2 reputation points. You may want to do that. It's a really good way to get points. It's 1 good for reputation, but also you might not, because you might want to use it for something else and not gift it to someone. And you can always choose to pass on that as well.
You've said that we're going to get more locations, right? During the game. At the end of each round?
So whenever a shop is full.
Oh, when it's full.
Whenever a shop is full.
You open a new shop.
And once they're all full, you don't...
So with a 1 to 2 player game, you only use 12 slots, but you'll have up to 14 slots for this size game. And So once all of these are around here are full, then no more chops, but most of them start to get built up to the point that like you want to go to the ones that are fairly built up.
Yeah.
But you're capped at only 3 enchantments per place, so eventually you start to wander a little bit too.
3 enchantments per place, maximum.
And what's the end game trigger?
It is either finishing drawing from this deck or the enchantment
Oh,
deck
the
over
enchantment
there.
deck ones.
Yep.
Very good.
And so as far as upgrades from this, the mat is from the base game. Minis are deluxe. Those tokens are deluxe.
Yeah.
And the coins are. But everything else is fairly
So
standard.
that from there is the basic one, I would
Yeah,
say.
these are the basic tokens, coins, and minis.
And this is the deluxe
Yep.
one. But
Exactly.
this mat is on the
In the
base,
base game.
already. Okay.
Is everything available to buy here, or only
Yes,
the...
I believe we are out of the deluxe and fairly close to out of all the deluxe resources, but we still have plenty of retail edition in stock.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Carley.
There's a final round.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. When the stack, either the stack is empty, everyone will get one more turn, including the person who triggered it, which can be quite strong. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Carley, for the explanation. It was very good.
I will obviously be here and cover and let you start off. Does everyone have the color of their choice ready to roll? Oh, actually, so you get 3 dragons to start and 2 fancy dragons. You take a look at those fancy dragons. You only get to keep 1, and the other one will go to the bottom of this deck.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the information.
Absolutely.